Sports Network production. Now to your host.
Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of the seventh inning stretch recap edition. I am your host, Logan Stone, and with me is a plethora of guests. Kind of special, kind of not anymore because everyone's been here at least 15 times. So you're no longer a special guest. Congratulations. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Yes, I made it.
We are here.
Made it.
Yeah, right? We are here to talk about the World Series Game 3. Philadelphia gave a spanking to the Houston Astros. Quite fitting tonight. 7-0. We got Ryan from BSing Sports, true Phillies fan. Darren, who is not a Phillies fan, but he likes baseball. That's what's special about him. Also, Tyler, who's a baseball fan. He's a Giants fan, so I can't give him any respect because fuck the Giants, honestly. No,
It's
sorry.
going to be fun.
And Jason, who's a Dodgers fan.
Boo.
And a Packers fan for some reason. Okay, then. I guess they don't have football in California.
We have football in California, just bad football.
Yeah, I guess so. And the Packers are so much better than that.
The Rams just won the Super Bowl last year.
I was going to say, man.
Oh, we don't talk about the Rams.
Rams don't count.
Yeah, the Rams don't count. They're still St. Louis. Anyways, let's talk about this game. It was a pretty it wasn't really much of a game, honestly. I mean, it was 3-0 Phillies after the first inning. Bryce Harper hit a 2-run home run. It's 2-0 Phillies, and then the next inning, Bohm hit a home run. Hoskins hit a home run. Schwarber hit a home run. My dad hit a home run. My dead grandma hit a home run. I mean, good Lord. Since you're the Phillies fan here, Ryan, what do you think? What was your takeaway from this game?
My takeaway is that Bryce Harper is elite, and if he wants to marry me so we can have kids with sweet beards like the both of us have, then I'm totally open to this. No, but I mean, outside of the home run, the very first thing he did was go to the dugout, talk to Alec Bohm, and I mean, as we all probably know by now, it was very obvious Lance McCullers was tipping his pitches. So that was the first thing, Bryce went and talked to him about, and sure enough, first at bat, first pitch, Alec Bohm unloads on one and puts it into left field. And it looked, I mean, McCullers was very obviously, doing something with the hitters, and it was the level of his hands. I don't know if you guys saw that. They're much lower, closer to his body on a fastball, higher and further away from his body on a breaking ball, with a leg kick being a little different too. So the Phillies hitters obviously picked up on it right away. And Dusty Baker, I guess he just wanted to lose the game because him and his pitching coach made no adjustment to that at all, and they just let McCullers stay in there and get beat up on for 5 home runs in 5 innings. So, and at that point, once Jose Urquidy went in, and he hadn't thrown an inning in the postseason, that kind of told me the Astros threw in the towel there pretty early. And then I don't know if you guys saw this too when Jordan popped out in, what was it, the 7th? And he stood at home plate and took all his gear off instead of running to first. What a fucking crybaby piece of shit, dude. This is the softest fucking team I've ever seen in my whole goddamn life. First off, they need this introduction so Philly doesn't harp on them too badly because they're a bunch of fucking cheaters anyway, and they deserve it. Okay, that's fine. You guys want to cry about that. And now you're out here popping out, losing 7-0, and you want to take your gear off instead of running to first base? Dude, go fucking cry about it in your hotel room, jackass.
I love the passion.
Oh, gosh.
I don't get it. What are you doing?
Altuve did that too. He didn't run to first base on a ground ball that, I mean, it seemed like it was close enough. But Tyler, I haven't had you on for a while. So what was your thoughts of this game and everything happening?
It was just ass kicking. I mean, you hit 5 home runs and don't give up a run. It just was an ugly game from the start. Ryan mentioned Bryce Harper. He's got to be the most underrated player in the league. He's a 2-time MVP, but people don't. I mean, they talk about it, but it's not. No one ever mentioned him as the best player in the league, and he literally could be the best player in baseball. He's clutch. He has 2 MVPs. He has 7 All-Stars. He's always consistently good. I think he doesn't get, like, for someone who was on Sports Illustrated, like LeBron, and like as a 19-year-old phenom, I feel like people hold him to too high of a standard and like will shit on him when they can. And I think he deserves his flowers.
What do you think of the tipping of the pitches, Tyler? Did you see anything? I mean, obviously, I think we all saw it.
Yeah.
I think it was going around Twitter a lot too. What did you think of that? Do you think that that's on the pitching coaches? And should Dusty Baker have taken him out after the fourth run in the fifth inning? Was it the fifth?
3 runs in the 5th.
Yeah.
I mean, Dusty should have done something, or the pitching coach should have done something. You can't just let a guy like give away what he's going to throw. You can't be successful. Someone has to do something. I mean, it's just like, it's almost like Little League that no one's helping this pitcher figure out what he's doing. And if he can't fix it, then he should have left after the 2nd inning when he gave up 4 runs.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Jason, what was your thoughts today? Did you have anything special?
Hey, the Phillies went out and did what they had to do. They went and mashed the ball. 5 home runs in one postseason game. I think that's a record, if I'm not mistaken. Ryan, I'm sure you'll correct me if it is wrong.
McCullers giving up 5 homers is a record, but 18
that's right.
5 homers in
Thank
the game.
You.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you very much, Ryan. I appreciate that pickup. The Phillies went out and they did what they had to do. They took advantage of the mistakes. They took advantage of Lance McCullers tipping pitches. I totally agree with Tyler, where I think, look, that's not so much on McCullers as it is Dusty Baker and his pitching coach. They should have picked up on that muy pronto, and they should have had that bullpen warming up the second he gave up the 2nd home run. I also thought, as far as Jordan Alvarez, Ryan, I totally agree with you. That's absolute Bush League. And if I'm Dusty Baker, I'm not only benching that guy for Game 4, but I'm benching him the rest of the damn series. He's not even hitting this series anyway. So I'm benching him. I used to be a player. And let me tell you, when I did something like that when I played, my coach did not hesitate to yank my ass into the dugout and say, don't even bother showing up to the yard tomorrow because you're not playing. That's absolute Bush League. That's unacceptable. The guy is a pro ball player regardless of how good he is. I can guarantee you right now, he's probably in that clubhouse getting his ass kicked because that is not good. And if I was Dusty Baker, I'd bench him for Game 4, and I'd bench him the rest of the series. He has to earn his way back onto that roster. But, again, giving all the credit in the world to the Phillies on this one, they came out, they took advantage of the mistakes. Bryce Harper set the tone. Brandon Marsh got up to the rising action. And, boy, Kyle Schwarber, man, guys, I just caught that home run ball out here in California that he hit. That thing was freaking hit a gazillion miles, man. So credit to the Phils that came out and did what they had to do. Big showing tonight, 7-0. Eat it, Houston.
Aaron, my sweet
I was trying to
Aaron.
write down a few things from everybody there. Like the first thing that caught my attention from the game was immediately, like right in a big game, first game back in Philadelphia since 2009. Ryan, you probably felt the same thing, right? At least I think you did. Is right away. I know you don't like him, but he makes a big catch on the first play of the game. Just immediately gets the crowd fired up.
Text my
right?
buddy that I had nothing bad to say about Castellanos. He even got a hit, dude. I'm like, God damn it.
So immediately he gets a big play, immediately fires up the crowd. You can't ask for more like that on a defensive end. That drops. You never know what happens right there. You know what I mean? In first place, Suarez is immediately in the stretch. Boom, here we go. That changes that. And then the next thing I noticed was then Harper immediately in the first inning, like Tyler said, the superstar, the guy that's supposed to deliver, hits the bomb. Now the crowd is just on another level right now. Like every pitch matters to them. Everything is just so in tune. And like I think they pointed out on the 8th inning, the crowd or the team is at this point feeding off that crowd. So it was pretty fun to watch the team actually get better as the crowd got more into it. It was a pretty cool thing to see. Suarez, I thought, was a big difference. Schwarber, Hoskins continue to be the second guys that just are backing up the Harper on just another level. Like just, I mean, they're just continuing to rake. And then the thing you mentioned about Dusty Baker's Jason, I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you got to have some big cojones there, Dusty, to do that in a game 4 down 2-1 with your 4-hitter. Not saying you guys are wrong about it. Just saying, I don't know. I just can't see him doing that, I guess.
You can disagree, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then the tipping pitches, I find it funny. I think the Astros, I think they realized that they cheated, and this was a good game for them to help, kind of continue to maybe give back in a good way. So I think that was the plan in the Astros. Those are my thoughts, on the game.
I mean, for a player like Bryce Harper, I mean, obviously he bats fourth in the lineup. To sit on that curveball like he knew it was coming tells me he picked that up in Real Muto's at bat. He picked that up in Schwarber's. Like he saw that from the like words play ball, like that McCullers was doing something they shouldn't. He knew it right away. So to me,
I know you weren't listening to the main broadcast, but John Smoltz even said, "If I'm Bryce Harper, I'm sitting breaking ball."
I did listen to the main broadcast for the first couple innings.
Yeah.
And then I changed it because John Smoltz has kind of been getting on my nerves a little bit. But
I don't know why. He's the greatest.
Well, actually, it's funny. Post game, John Smoltz like semi-accused the Phillies of cheating, and then A-Rod like backtracked him and said, "We're not accusing the Phillies of cheating. We're just pointing out that you can see that a pitcher is tipping his pitches, and then tell your teammates."
Yeah. So I have a little bit of some notes here. First one was the national anthem sucked. I don't know. That girl was like singing from the back of her throat or something. It was weird. Whenever Rhys Hoskins came up in his first at bat, there was a woman behind him who was doing the stupid wave, who was a Phillies fan, and I almost started cheering for the Astros. Almost. I was like, come on. You're making a bad name out of the Phillies fans. First, Hoskins at bat, he struck out, swung at a horrible pitch, and that scared the shit out of me. But it looked like he foul tipped it, and he didn't even pretend that it was foul tipped. If I was him, I would have said, "Oh, I tipped it." And I know that he probably wouldn't have won it, but if the umpire was like, "Oh yeah, I think he tipped it too," I mean, that was kind of my thing. And then Alec Boehm hit his 1,000th, or no, he didn't hit his 1,000th. He hit the 100th, the 1,000th World Series home run. Is that shocking to you guys? I mean, we've had World Series for 118 years or 808. Jason, go ahead.
I have only one question. Ryan, does the entire city of Philadelphia get free tacos from Taco Bell?
Yes.
I would imagine so.
Actually, yeah, that does surprise me because 1,000 career home runs in the postseason or whatever you just said, Logan. I mean, of all the people in the world that you'd think that would hit that, the last guy would be Alec Boehm. I mean, you'd think it would be David Ortiz or Frank Thomas, but Alec freaking Boehm? And did I not say Alec Boehm was my prediction for World Series MVP? Right there, guys. Chalk it up. Yeah.
While we're on the Alec Boehm train, how this guy used to not be able to feel the ground ball just 3 months ago. And now he's picks it like he's Nolan Arenado at times, and he's coming up clutch in the world. He's just so unexpected. I thought he was always a hot shot prospect, but I never expected him to be this good for this big of a situation.
He thinks he's the second coming of Mike Schmidt over there at third base.
All right, now I wouldn't put those two names in the same sentence.
Oh, I just went there. Yes, I just went there.
Alec Boehm, for all of about 25 minutes, was the youngest player in Phillies history to hit a home run in the World Series. And then Brandon Marsh went yard right after him. So,
yep.
Hey, Logan, can I ask you a question real quick? I just once in a while I see your tweets about Mr. Tucker, and I just smile, and I'm just assuming that you're sitting there drinking a beer, just get out, you son of a bitch, get out.
Listen, I have not wished harm on any player, but Kyle Tucker, I swear to God, I wish his leg would snap off like Mickey Mantle style. I hope he trips on a little
listen to this podcast.
pipe. On a little what was it? I don't know, but it was a water pipe or something. And
the drain in the Yankees outfield.
Yeah. So sometimes I wish that. Sometimes
I just feel like I'm envisioning you just sitting there. Come on, throw that swing.
I've only made one voodoo doll of Kyle Tucker. I've not used it yet. I may have to use it in Game 5. But yeah, that's a big deal. Ryan, what did you think of? I mean, 1,000 home runs in a World Series. I mean, it's 2022.
Mind blowing. I thought we would have surpassed that a long time ago. To be honest with you, like you said, the World
Right.
Series has been around for 119 years now. I think so.
Yeah, 122. Yeah,
I think the first World Series was in 1903.
Was it?
Yeah, the first one ever hit was 1904 by some Pittsburgh Pirate, they said on the broadcast.
Yeah, it was actually he hit that home run off Cy Young. Funny enough.
That Pittsburgh hitter was probably a little bitch. No,
I think it was an inside the park home run as well.
might make sense.
That's not even real. They don't count.
So let's talk about Ranger Suarez going 5 innings, no earned runs. I mean, that's pretty dominant. Ryan at the beginning of the postseason was like, I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. And now he is your daddy.
Yeah, no, very, very Cliff Lee-esque vibes out there. If you watch the way that he fields the ball, it reminds me of 2009 where Lee would just stand there like this on his pop-ups, his glove out, and just catch it with one hand. He's got a little bit of swagger to him. And, you know, I never was, like, on board with, like, oh, this sucks. This is the worst decision. He can't do it. Like, this is a dude that until this year hadn't made a single start in September because he either A, wasn't a starter, or B, just couldn't stay healthy for it. So let alone to trust him in October was a little iffy for me. I definitely proceeded with caution there, but you know, I'm glad that he's pitching well, and he's pitching real well. It's unfortunate though, the way that they use him out of the bullpen in between starts. He really can't go more than 5 innings, but he was dealing it tonight.
Yeah. Tyler?
He was lights out. I've always liked his game in the show. He's always had good stuff. I haven't really watched him pitch live until today, really, and he was very impressive. He just was nonchalant, got guys out, weak contact, didn't walk anybody, or walked one guy in 5 innings. And if you're not walking guys and you're throwing strikes and getting weak contact, recipe for success.
Darren, do you think he should have gone a little bit more?
If you listen to any Fat Boy Fadeaway podcast, I believe pitchers should always go longer in games. So, yes, if they're dealing, I don't believe you ever get rid of them. But I do understand maybe the Suarez situation a little bit. They haven't really stretched them out as much during the season. But, yeah, I think you should just throw a guy when they're on fire.
It's not so much of an in-season issue as they use Ranger out of the pen in between his starts. So,
yeah,
kind of got to, yeah. Plus, they were up 7-0 at that point anyway.
Yeah, no, there's that. I just, in the playoffs, I'm just like, you know, there's just that thing, like, don't take out, just let it go.
I'm with you. I'm on our show preaching all the time. Like, dude, I so hate the way that they mismanage starting pitchers nowadays. But
yeah.
Jason, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know, I kind of thought Ranger, watching him pitch tonight, he kind of reminded me of a left-handed Jose Rijo. For those of you who remember who Jose Rijo was, he was dominant in the 1990 World Series with the Cincinnati Reds. Ranger tonight had everything going for him, and he kept the Astros off balance all night. He mixed in his pitches really well. I thought he and his catcher clearly had a game plan going out there tonight. And the old adage goes with pitchers sometimes, you don't necessarily have to strike out 10 guys to be dominant. And Ranger did that tonight. He was dominant. He had a solid line. And he did what was asked of him. He kept them off the scoreboard. And again, reminded me of a left-handed Jose Rijo. Had a lot of great movement on some of his breaking stuff. The slider had a lot of good late movement going into home plate there. So, yeah, great start by Ranger tonight. And 5 innings was all they needed with that 7-0 lead.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to McCullers. McCullers' first pitcher to allow 5 home runs in a World Series game.
Good.
And Ryan, I told you this before the show, but so listen, I said that Girardi was not the problem in the Phillies when he got fired. I said the Cardinals were going to win the World Series in September. I said that the Cardinals were going to sweep the Phillies. I said a lot of things. I said a lot of things going against the Phillies, and I even said the Astros were going to win in 5 games. But the other day before the World Series, MLB on Instagram had a thing that said the player you screenshot is your World Series MVP. And it's like one of those videos where it just shows a whole bunch of players like really fast. The person I screenshot, I don't know if you can see that, but that's Lance McCullers Jr. right there. And I almost sent it to you, Ryan. I almost said that means he's going to lose. He's going to get annihilated.
I mean, when the Phillies win the World Series, he will absolutely be our MVP. He was fucking horrible.
And I almost laughed. I was like, come on, man. My luck is just not that good. But anyways, so yeah, good job, McCullers, for being the Phillies MVP. I want to ask you, Ryan, real quick. So after every inning, I saw Ranger Suarez, before he hit the first baseline, he would wipe his hand on the grass. Do you know what that is? I don't think it's cheating.
We do that a few times, during the season, but I never really thought too much into it. I'm sure Astros fans out there definitely speculating, telling the umpires they need to go check those few blades of grass in between innings. But
I was just like, I've never seen. I don't know why they would do that. Anyways, guys, do we have any other thoughts about this game before we move on to the next game?
If that was an Astros pitcher, would it be a bigger deal?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Well, it was a bigger deal when Framber Valdez was doing his little wiping in Game 2. I guess
everybody's got to wipe.
Yeah, I thought I didn't have a problem with his wiping or anything. It was the changing of the glove that kind of got me. I was like, but I mean, up until that point, I didn't really think too much of it.
Someone was saying he does that all the time. I was like, really?
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, well, I'll take your word for it, but that's a little strange.
I absolutely love how we're all micro dissecting the Astros since 2017. It's like every time these guys pick their nose with their pinky finger, we're like, oh, foreign substance. Okay, let's get them right there.
They brought it on themselves, honestly.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm a Dodgers fan. I am not you, dude. This is the smallest violin in the world playing for the Trastros right now. All right, you're not going to get any love loss from me on them. But I just think it's funny that we all micro dissect them. But you guys are right; they brought it on themselves.
Yeah. Anybody else on Game 3 before we move on?
Hey, I just want to ask anybody. I heard the Phillies had a terrible bullpen, and just based on what I've seen this playoffs, it's been pretty legit, at least in the NLCS. And these four guys who went all had good stuff. Is the closer just bad? Like Sir Anthony or whatever what's his last name? He seems like he had good stuff too. Yeah.
It's funny because I don't think that the Phillies bullpen has allowed an earned run in the World Series yet. But
nope.
I think our bullpen's better than advertised. For a while there during the season, they were pitching at a quite elite level for about 6 or 7 weeks there, and that was with the bullpen pitching a bullpen game every 5th day because we didn't have a 5th starter. And it kind of caught up to them in September. They broke down. We blew a lot of games, and the bullpen just kind of fell apart. So the numbers are kind of skewed. But for a majority of the season, they pitched pretty well. I think that Philly loves to hate their own sometimes. So,
Thank you.
Darren, you look like you're about to say something.
No, I just thought it was funny. I agree with Ryan. They eat their own. I like that comment. That's a good way of saying it right there.
You know what? I've sat up here and been guilty of it, so whatever.
Yeah.
So tomorrow you said Aaron Nola and Christian Javier going against each other for Game 4. Do we have any thoughts about this game? Or I know we have thoughts about this game, but what are our thoughts on this game? Darren, we'll start with you.
Well, like I said last time I was with you guys, I said Astros in 7. This kind of feels about on track for that, but for that to happen, you need Garcia to pull this one out. That rain delay kind of sets maybe a little bit in play a little bit, but Nola, I don't know. I always say this because I had him a keeper league for a long time, and he has outings where he gives up 3 to 4 runs, and you're like, well, that's not very bad, but sometimes in a game like that early on, the momentum can change. They got away with it in Game 1, I know. But there is something about him that does make me nervous a little bit. And I kind of, in some weird way, I trust Garcia a little bit more.
It's Javier.
Or Javier. I just trust him a little bit more. So, I don't know. We'll see. I would take the Astros in this game.
Jason?
Yeah, Javier.
Yeah. Kind of an interesting matchup tomorrow with Javier and Nola. We all know what Nola can do. Like Darren, I think, just hit the nail right on the head. When Nola is on, he's as tough to hit as anybody. But he does have and Ryan, probably knows this better than anybody else, that when Nola has his hiccups, sometimes he has a hard time recovering from it. The thing with both of these guys is they're going to have to set the tempo. They're going to have to dictate through their pitching how this game is going to go. For Nola, he's a big strikeout guy. So is Christian Javier. But both of these guys, if they're going to help their teams win tomorrow night, they're going to have to set the tempo, and they're going to have to get some quick innings, especially with Nola. I don't know, Ryan, is Nola kind of a workhorse? How is he when he gets into about the 60 or 68 or 75 pitch limit?
Depends on how he's going, how he starts. How he starts the game will tell you everything that you need to know. Because he's one of those dudes that'll either snowball on him or he's going to settle in from the get-go. And
So that's it for me right there. Is just seeing how both of these guys start the game off. If Nola especially sets the tempo early and he can have some quick innings with this defense playing the way they are right now, Phillies should win tomorrow night. I don't see any reason why they can't.
Tyler?
I mean, I actually like both these teams I don't like the Astros. I mean, as far as the Astros, but I like the team, like their talent. And I think Javier, if he can just get through 5 innings with not giving up very many runs, like just limit the runs, they have a dominant bullpen. I think this series will go 7. I think Philly's going to win it in 7. I think they're destined. I think their offensive smash is better than the Astros right now. But I think Javier will do a better job than Nola tomorrow. And I got the Astros winning.
Ryan?
So Nola's kind of gotten shelled his last 2 starts. Didn't have a fantastic outing, obviously, in Game 1. And then his last outing against the Padres wasn't great either. So he's got some questions to answer. However, I'm not going to bet on him to have 3 bad starts in a row. Truly, I think that this is going to be a game of momentum. Clearly, mentally, the Astros were not ready to come into Philadelphia and win a baseball game, and it was very obvious. They checked out in the 6th inning. They let the crowd get to them. They ate them alive. The Astros are going to have to start fast because, like I said, if Nola gets settled in with a couple zeros on the board, I don't think that there's any way I don't think that there's any way they win Game 4, and I don't think there's any way the series leaves Philadelphia. If the Phillies win tomorrow night, the Astros are cooked. In all honesty, they just don't. They don't look like a team that has the mental capacity to fight back down 3-1 in hostile territory in Philadelphia. I mean, Christ, they had dudes giving up on at-bats where they were putting balls in play in Game 3. So to me, it's the Astros have a lot more to prove right now than the Phillies do, and it's really going to come down to who starts off fast, but I'm not betting that the Astros do. I think Nola settles in. I can't see him getting shelled 3 starts in a row.
I won't do any more predictions because I think this is going to be an interesting game because I think unlike the other games that we've seen, I think this might be a lower scoring game, even though I just said I'm not going to do any predictions. I just made a prediction right there, so that means it's going to be about 10-11 tomorrow. But yeah, I like Christian Javier. Probably the only Astro I really like. Aaron Nola, though, he does look. I mean, I don't know. You don't know what kind of Aaron Nola you're gonna get. But it'll be interesting for sure. Man, I don't know. I think the Astros definitely need that win. I mean, it's a no shit thing to say, but you definitely don't want to go 3-1 after tomorrow. So I feel like, and like Ryan said, if they lose tomorrow, they're definitely cooked. They're especially in that environment where the Phillies. And I said this at the beginning, and I don't remember when I said this, but I think I was with Ryan. I said the Phillies fans are a very relentless crowd. They're one of the hardest places to, go as an away team. I think San Diego's up there. I think Giants Giants fans are hard to play against. Anyways, so it's going to be interesting for sure. One quick thing before we go, I want to go back to this game. Do you think that the way that Rob Thompson didn't have to go into his bullpen too much, only using I can't remember Bowman Was that his
He
first?
used Bellotti, Nelson, and Gibson.
Yeah, Gibson. Not his main guys. Do you think that's going to help them? How much does that help them in the next 2 games?
Oh, I mean, that's massive because, Dominguez and Alvarado are your shutdown guys, and, Eflin can get the job done there too. So it's huge to give those guys a day off. I mean, Nelson, Bellotti are arguably our 2 worst bullpen arms. So it's good. What's up?
Connor Brogdon looked pretty good tonight.
I always said that Connor Brogdon's a poor man Ryan Madsen. Actually, that's probably the most polite thing I've ever called him. But I feel like he could be Ryan Madsen. I don't know if you guys remember Madsen, but he has that disgusting straight changeup from that straight 3/4 slot. He just reminds me of him to a T. And I feel like outside of his first postseason start though, Brogdon's pitched 5 1/3 shutout innings. So I guess I got to give credit's due.
Can I just say something about what Ryan said a few seconds ago? And I found it very when he said, I mean, it's kind of an insult to the Astros, but he's right about it. Is the Astros haven't? He said if the Phillies get it to a big lead, he doesn't think the Astros can fight back. I mean, you talk about something where that is to a Major League Baseball team. If I don't show any, you know what I mean? You're saying I can't come back. I found that to be the most interesting thing. And he's right though. Their body language tonight did show that. But I always say there's a game-to-game thing with this. So I'm curious to see going forward if – I don't know, Ryan. To me, that's an interesting thing going forward. If the Phillies get up 3-0 tomorrow, how do the Astros body language and how do they fight back? To me, that's something that will be very interesting tomorrow. I'll be looking forward to.
Well, I think it kind of goes back to the thing that the Astros always had this postseason, and even during the regular season, was their pitching. Their starting rotation was really good. Their bullpen is amazing, and to have them kind of not shelled. I shouldn't say shelled, but some of their guys just get kind of pooped on. I think it's disheartening, and it seems like Altuve, if you're down 3 runs, he has no interest in fighting back. Like we said tonight. He didn't run for a ground ball that was – I mean, it was an easy out, but he should have been hustling down the line. Yordan Alvarez didn't even get out of the batter's box when he hit a fly ball. And the other day, Altuve did he should have been on second on a blooper to center, but he thought it was going to be an out, so he just jogged over to first. So that's my thoughts on it. Anybody else?
Speaking of the Astros guys that were part of that trash can thing, and the most hated guy probably after that immediately happened was probably Bregman. Has anyone watching? I love watching Bregman play baseball. He's the one guy who didn't show any quit. He had that great at bat in the 7th to get 2 guys on base. Has he gained any respect in your guys' eyes as far as how he's played? He just seems like a gamer to me.
And he had that big double in game 1 to keep him alive.
And it seems clutch. I don't know. Obviously he cheated and he took it terribly. He ran with it and just denied, and it was obviously he was in the wrong.
He doesn't get much from me, but only because it seemed like he didn't have such a great couple of seasons. It seemed like in 2020, but I'm looking at his stats right now, and he had an 801 OPS in 2020, 777 in 2021, and an 820 this year. So, I mean, I guess he's been doing well. It seemed like I don't know why I thought he had a drop off after the 2019 season.
He had a terrible 2021 World Series, but he had wrist surgery right after.
Yeah. So respect, no, not really. But I mean, I like him. I think he's grown on me as a player again. So, yeah.
I think when you look at anybody that disgraces the game of baseball like that, especially early on in their career, they don't ever really get that respect back. You look at A-Rod after he basically admitted to using steroids very early on in his career in Seattle after he retired. People immediately just began to throw away everything that he did in his career. I mean, Barry Bonds after he went to San Francisco and obviously juiced up, no matter what he says. people who disgrace the integrity of baseball don't get any respect. I think that sticks around for a long time. I mean, you might like watching that player and play again. Like, don't get me wrong, I liked Bregman when he was at LSU. I mean, when he was a shortstop over there, I liked watching him and Nola play together. But when you disrespect the game in such a manner like that, you'll never get the respect. Back in my opinion, but
yeah, fucking shoeless Joe Jackson, piece of shit. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, fucking idiot, couldn't even read.
Jesus. Jason, you played with Shoeless Joe. What was he like? No, I'm sorry.
Actually, you know what? Shoeless Joe was a stand-up guy. In regards to Bregman, I watched him play all the way through college. He played at LSU, and I've always thought he was an outstanding player. I've lost respect for him and a lot of the other guys in the Astros just simply because not only that they cheated, but none of them were apologetic about it. And I guess when you look at it through their lens, why should they be sorry? I mean, they cheated to win a world championship. Not everybody thinks that way, but apparently they do. I think if Bregman was a little bit more contrite about his involvement in that scandal, I'd have a different view of him. But talent-wise, the player Alex Bregman, I've always liked. I've always thought that he's been on the cusp of greatness, but he just hasn't been able to get there. And again, like we've just mentioned, guys, public perception plays into a lot of what these guys do in their careers. I mean, look at Justin Turner. Just flip side the coin here for a little bit. Turner was in Philadelphia tonight to be acknowledged for winning the Roberto Clemente Award for citizenship. You're not going to see anybody on the Astros winning that award anytime soon. And regardless of how well Justin, as a Dodgers fan, I can tell you, regardless of how poor or how good Justin Turner is, he's always going to be loved because of the public perception he has off the field. And Bregman doesn't have that perception, and that kind of goes into his mystique, his aura of not being a truly great player. He's a good player, a very good player, but he's not a great player. And so that, for me, I can't openly root for the guy and advocate for him having a great career because, again, yay, I cheated to win a world championship, and I feel pretty fucking good about it. So that's just how I feel about him.
But there's guys who have cheated, and like David Ortiz is still beloved in Major League Baseball. And like he has it's not. I mean, I get where the Astros are worse because it was like a whole team scheme. But Alex Cora's welcome back. No one brings that up when they're talking. It's a little. It's not overblown, but I don't know. It is what it is, I guess.
I hear you. I hear you, Tyler. But also take a look at the two different personas of those guys. David Ortiz is very ingratiating, very extroverted. He's a fun guy. He seems to be a fun guy to be around. But whereas with Alex Bregman, he doesn't really say a lot. So I think the personality, I'm not saying you're wrong, Tyler. I'm just saying that the personalities of those two guys affect their public persona as well.
Yeah.
After that whole scandal happened, my biggest thing was, all right, I mean, obviously we're going to move on past this, but I always hoped that those guys had fantastic careers. And then when it comes time for their Hall of Fame voting, those guys don't forget that stuff. They're not getting in the Hall of Fame. I'd rather them have Hall of Fame worthy careers and be shunned out of the Hall of Fame, and then they'll be like throwing their arms up in the air like, why? Well, if Barry Bonds had 4/5 of a Hall of Fame career and he's not even sniffing an entry, why are you, who cheated so early in their career, and how long had you been doing it? How much did it boost? There's always going to be questions tied to that. So, I mean, at this point, all we can do is move on, hope these guys have fantastic careers, and just know that as baseball fans, Hall of Fame voters, they always remember that stuff.
Yeah. I will say, though, like, there's that video that went around for a while. I think it was in Boston, where the Red Sox guy, he says, "Hey, Bregman, come over here. Can you take a picture with me?" And Bregman comes over and he goes, "I'm not going to take a picture with you, you cheating piece of shit." That was when I was like, okay, Bregman, I'm done with the hate on Bregman right there. And I was like, I don't need to.
I don't think that there's any necessity to like outwardly hate on these guys for something that happened 5 years ago, but just know that we remember.
Yeah. The only person that we need to hate on is Kyle Tucker. You piece of shit.
Hey, you better put some respect on Ted Williams' name, okay?
Oh man, when he had to do that jump for Marsh's home run, I was like, oh, he's gonna get his leg caught. Anyways, but it's fine. No, it's fine, Kyle. You're fine. You're fine. You're gonna be fine. By the way, we missed a comment from 69mega.com. Looks like we found a girl for you, Ryan.
So
Dreams
Logan's
do come
logging
true.
off here.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Tough in Texas right now.
Yeah, right. But anyways, it was a great game tonight. 7-0 Phillies. Any last words tonight, Darren? Since I don't have Josh, do you have any wise words of wisdom?
I don't know if I have any wise words. I just hope we get a better game 4 tomorrow. That's all I want. I want a competitive game 4. I expect it to be. My last thought would be, I would expect this to maybe be the best game of the series. Right? The Astros are really desperate to win the game. I'm sure Dusty Baker will, like Ryan said, how he didn't tonight. I'm assuming he'll have just all hands on deck to win tomorrow night's game. And I'm sure that so it'll be interesting, just the dynamic. The weird thing about this series is how each team, other than the first game that resulted in a different result, is that the beginnings have been so dominant. One team gets off to such a big lead. I'd be curious if it just stays 0-0 or 1-1 for like 6th and into the 7th inning, just how much that changes the dynamic of the game. And so that'd be interesting to see for the first time instead of a kind of a big lead here a little bit. So that's to me the big takeaway going into a very critical and fun game 4.
Jason, do you have any words of wisdom also?
Yeah, well, basically just to kind of echo what Darren said. I'm kind of hoping for a little bit more competitive game tomorrow. I'm kind of hoping that that your man Kyle Tucker goes 0-4. No, I'm kidding. I don't think he'll go 0-4. But no, I am hoping for a little bit more competitive game. I will admit I am having fun watching the Phillies play. This team plays all 27 outs. They do not leave an at-bat up there at home plate. They clearly go up there and strategize what they're going to do. And I got to tell you, I love it when I look down in the dugout and I see Bryce Harper talking to these younger players, telling them, okay, look, here's what to look for. Watch release point. Here's where the ball is going to come from. That is great coaching. That's great mentorship by a veteran all-star player, a veteran MVP all-star player. And look, Bryce and all those other guys, like I said, they all play 27 outs. Regardless of whether you're a Phillies fan or not, they're a fun team to watch. I'm going to be looking for much of that again tomorrow.
Yeah. Tyler, what is your words of wisdom?
I just think it's not very shocking the Angels gave up a center fielder who's playing in the World Series and hitting home runs.
Right?
Makes sense. Forgot about Marsh being an angel. Ryan.
I think Marsh forgot Marsh was an angel. But,
Let's not dredge up the past.
Right.
The eye test in the first 3 innings for the Astros tomorrow is going to be crucial because if they even remotely come out and look like they don't want to play baseball tomorrow, I don't know if this series is going to leave Philadelphia. The first 3 innings, after getting punched in the mouth the way they did, very visibly giving up today, the first 3 innings of tomorrow's game is going to speak volumes about how the Astros feel about how this series is going to move forward. And as far as Bryce Harper's concerned, the Eagles are undefeated, and Bryce Harper's the king of the city. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Why isn't Bryce Harper playing defense? Is he hurt?
He tore his UCL. He's going to need Tommy John surgery in the offseason.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Well, there wasn't really many wise words right there. That's why I have Josh here. But it was great to have all you guys here. Wait. No, don't look at me like that, Darren. Darren, Tyler, you guys want to plug your show? You guys have a song that you do, a little duet?
We haven't got to that part of it yet. Yeah, like
You are.
If I was a below average singer, I would do it for you, but I'm not. You can find us at Fatboy Fadeaway Sports Podcast. We do our podcast every Sunday morning. Talk a little bit MLB, NBA, NFL. Hopefully we can get you guys to jump on our podcast one of a time. Ryan, obviously with the Eagles doing good, it'd be nice to get you on. And Jason, maybe a Dodgers-Giants series one of these years. We can get you on there. So, yeah, check us
I'd
over at
love to
Top
be
Takeaway.
on Darren and Tyler's podcast. Make it happen today.
Wow, he's already got the jingle going. And I will say it's a little sad that it's the first time you meet Jason and Ryan, Tyler, and Darren is the second time, and you already invite them to your podcast. That's fine. I've been y'all's best friend for a while now, and I've never been invited. No, I'm kidding.
Well, Logan, we want to.
Darren's in charge of the invite.
We want to keep it as classy as possible.
Oh my God. I don't know what the fuck that means.
Yeah.
Jason, you want to plug something?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to come on the show and talk ball with you. It's great to talk about the game with other fans who love it as much as I do. It's great to hear different insights as well, and we get different views, we get different opinions, but I think in the end, we all respect each other's opinions, even if we don't agree with each other. Tyler, it was great meeting you for the first time tonight, even though you are a Giants fan. It was great meeting you tonight. Again, it's always a pleasure being on here. I love talking ball with you guys. Thanks for having me on here, and don't forget to follow me at Dodger Jason. That's my Twitter handle.
Ryan, go ahead and plug your show.
Yeah, so I mean, if you guys don't know me by now, I'm on here, seems like on a weekly basis, but at BSing Sports right down here. I'm Ryan, one of the co-hosts. Hi. That felt like an AA intro. Jesus, I haven't done that in a while. Darren, Tyler, nice. I mean, Darren, I've met you before. Tyler, nice to meet you. Hopefully we can, connect up soon. We'll get on each other's show or somehow. Jason, always a pleasure, man. Logan, nice beard, man.
Notice how I didn't ask you for any wise words of wisdom. So,
Yadier Molina.
Shut the fuck up, Jason.
Hockey.
And oh my gosh, I don't know who I hate more, Yadier Molina or Kyle Tucker. That is a question for another day. Live long, watch some damn baseball. Peace out, motherfucker.
Yep.